I'm good, Julian. How are you?
I got to tell you, man, I've been a fan of yours for many, many years, so it's great to finally actually interview you in person.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
All right, so I got to say, man, the first 5 minutes of this movie is like every parent's worst nightmare. I mean, it
Yeah,
scared the crap out of me, right? So
yeah.
there's a lot to like about this film, but when you first got the script, what intrigued you the most?
I think the concept itself. I think everyone has gotten that, unfortunately, right? Gotten that Amber Alert on their phone and seen it, and it breaks your heart, but you don't know what you can do about it. You just feel like you don't. I think there was like a Vine or something like that that was out years ago. People just running hit in the streets trying to go find whatever the vehicle is because you're like, what do I do? And this movie proposed the idea of what if you could do something? What if it was right in front of you? Then what would you do? And that immediately it started tickling my brain in a very interesting way, and that's what kind of drew me to it is exploring that reality.
One of the things I like about Shane, I was hoping that Shane wasn't going to be the magical Negro. You know what I'm saying? The black
Right,
man that jumps in front to be like, "I'll save you, white girl. Don't worry, I'll take all the bullets for you." But there's
right.
a great moment where Shane has to make the decision, like, you know what? I am going to go with Jaq on this journey. This is the right thing to do. Talk about filming that scene in the car with Hayden and how dramatic that was.
That was rough. That was something that I had always had concerns about from the very beginning. Was I know the conflict was there between him, his son, and what was happening in front of him, but I needed to make that decision difficult for him. And I think that's really what tethered me to this character was think there are men all over the country and the world who are stuck between a rock and a hard place and are just trying to make the right decision and do the right thing. And that was super important when we handled that, when we went into it. I talked to Carrie quite a bit about it beforehand. And we did, a few different versions of it that to kind of cover our bases in a way. But I think just the conflict that's in him in the moment was what was most important to me.
All right, so let's talk about the beginning because in the credits you're listed as an executive producer with Hayden. So was this your project and did you find Carrie? Did he find you? How did this all begin?
So Carrie found me. It went through my agent, and when I read the script, I was like, "This is the concept is there, right? I think that's what film is right now. You need to be able to hook people with a concept. If you're going to get someone to sit down and watch for 2 hours, you better have something there for them to watch and for them to really kind of hook into. But I wanted to kind of get my hands dirty here. I wanted to do work on Shane that was more than just character breakdown. I wanted to kind of get into this script with him and really kind of shape him out that much more. Um, and then from there, we just kind of built off of what was already there. He did a great job in kind of like building this premise out and all of that. But I wanted to come in and do some behind the camera character work.
All right, so the shit gets real in the ending, so we won't talk about
Mm-hmm.
that. But the scenes with you and Hayden, who plays Jacka, your female co-star, in the car is really the majority of the film. So
Right.
if you think about it, watching two people drive a car isn't that excited unless something is really going on, right? So
Yeah.
talk about working with her. Did you know her from before? What's her personality like?
So we had been around each other when we were younger, right? We're both child actors, and I'm one who will kind of always um advocate for, I guess, child actors in a way because I feel like regardless, we have something in the tank. There was something that was there initially, and there's always something to give. But that was the hurdle here. I think the hurdle here was as I was breaking the script down, I'm like, it's two people in a car. That's it. That's the basis of this film. If you can't sit there and let the dialogue work and find different ways to I guess keep it interesting, there's no movie here. So I think that was what we tried to tackle here, and I love that as a challenge. It felt very theatrical, you know what I mean, like in a theater way. It felt very like play almost. And that kind of took me back to like my New York roots, and I was like, this could be fun.
All right, so there's a question I've always wanted to ask you. you've been around for a long time since you were a child, and you've had so much success. I mean, I've pretty much seen everything that you've done. And in my career, talking to a lot of filmmakers, actors, and producers, etc., there's always a nose for talent, right? So my question is, how do you know what's going to be successful? I mean, when you're looking at Abbott Elementary, do you think to yourself, this is going to be a hit? I got to get involved with this.
You can feel it. It's a feeling. It's hard to explain, right? It's like a sixth sense. I think after a while, I think part of it is, in a way, math. You put certain creatives together who speak the same language and you have a good idea, then you already have the pieces necessary to create a hit. But there's a certain magic that happens and you can feel it when it does. And it's either there or it isn't. And that's it. You take a swing and you hope for the best. But um, over time, that gets refined. You know what I mean? Like, I think also a big part of it is knowing your audience. Knowing, like I said, for film right now, film is in a very interesting place. I think anybody in the film industry will tell you that, because there's just a lot of content out there that people can take in. You have to be able to hook them from the beginning. And that's where, I think I know TV very well, but I'm beginning to start to, test some of my theories in the film space now.
All right, so let's talk about your versatility, right? Because I mean, I think walking down the street, everybody knows you as a great comedic actor and they've seen all your
Mm-hmm.
work. But then you kicked so much ass in The Walking Dead. You were
Mm-hmm.
so great, in Detroit. And so my question to you is, what do you find to be more challenging for you? Is comedy effortless? Do you see yourself better as an action star or a character like Jaq, who's more aggressive?
Comedy is harder, hands down. I'll say it every day of the week. There's never a day when that's not the case, because when you approach a comedy, particularly a good comedy, you're not approaching it as if it's a comedy. You're approaching it like any other project. What makes it funny is playing it as if it's not. I think people think that we are just playing into kind of jokes. What makes it funny, what makes you laugh, is these characters living in this space. And also, comedy, I've people disagreed with me before on it. Comedy has a bar. If you didn't laugh, it wasn't funny. That's literally it. It's like this. It's this. I'm very cut and dry about that. On the dramatic side, it poses another challenge. I think authenticity is the main challenge there. I think being able to be in front of a camera boldly and authentically is a challenge in itself. Comedy will always be harder. You can debate up and down the street about whether or not a drama was good. If you didn't laugh in a comedy, it wasn't good.
Awesome, dude. Well said. All right, so before Anna pulls me away, this is the metrics question. What are you working on next? What are you excited to do? What can we see you in next?
We're currently shooting Abbott Elementary season 4. We're currently shooting episode 6. And I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. It's the funniest season we've done thus far. Like, I try not to bullshit people when it comes to comedy. I take it very seriously. We're clicking in a way we've never clicked before. We somehow in season 4 are still finding peaks. And I'm incredibly impressed with my castmates every day. But that's really the focus. I got 22 episodes to do, and we're on 6. So that's that's kind of my focus right now for the foreseeable future.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, man. Big fan. Cheers.
Thank you, man.